Yeah, there's my. Yeah.
So when I announce his zoning appointment, can I say PK or can I just
You're the boss. We need a new copy. Our copies are really bad. It's stored in.
It could be, depending on where she printed it from. Is it our copy or it could be the one that was in?
I don't know what mine's at the bottom, so it could be this.
Well, the copier, they just came yesterday, I guess, to fix it.
But I know the law says stores to anybody. Is that all it is, Michelle?
Hello. Oh, we need purple. Well, thank you. 2. About 30 seconds.
Turn on 5 packets for board meeting.
We'll see. I will hope to not duck out. That's how you used to write very long reports. I have to leave my own.
Oh gosh, I understand that.
I was like, oh my God. I do have a lot to read.
Just north of town, it's county, Lexington County Park. Yeah, that's what she does, it's county park.
It's right on the water.
Yep. That one, lighthouse. Up there.
Pickleball, isn't it?
What's that?
Pickleball still?
I don't know if it's pickleball or what.
That was originally what it was. He said he was gonna be out for so many weeks for pickleball. That's the excuse he gave us. I don't know.
Pickleball's fun.
I'd like to offer prayer for all those that want to join me, Ken, for our meeting. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time to assemble as a community, that we may see the decisions being made, and we pray that they have wise counsel, and that we can all be civil and get more people involved in our government. And we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
You gotta wait now until 6 o'clock.
We should free them.
And is it?
5:59 on mine. Still 5:59.
So I told you 30 seconds.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock. We'll call this meeting to order. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Osip,
Here.
Clemens. Place, here. Barber,
Here.
VanBelle.
Here.
And I'd like to approve the agenda with, is there any other additions, deletions, and or corrections? I have that I would like to add a 3-member interview committee to our agenda
Under new business?
under new business as number 7.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Normally I do a roll call, but that way I'm just doing it that way. And then we have, looks like we have Mr. Nisley here. You got the floor?
Thank you. We just have a few updates here, a couple comments here. There's been a whole lot going on at the commission level here. To be honest with you, I had vacation this summer like we all do, and so I've missed a couple of meetings here, but I kept up to date with everything that's going on. So we had the budget. We had the budget hearings. We're moving into the public hearing, full board here at the end of the month. And then we'll vote on the final budget for the fiscal year 2026-27. So that's coming up here. We did pass a couple of resolutions in the budget hearing minutes that in the future that projected projections in the budget, planning and budget hearings and discussion and address new budget adjustments that are needed. That they have to go. We have to have a 2/3 majority vote. They have to go through the personnel committee, and there's just. We also authorize the capital expenditures presented by the committee to exceed $5,000 like we presented to the budget hearing cycle meetings to be considered. We also moved the IT budget from the expenditure budget to the general fund budget. Going on to some of the draft motions here at our last committee full meeting. We approved the 2026 remonumentation grant, which was $58,800 to 3 survey companies. They do actually go out there every year and mark our corners here to make sure all our surveys are accurate in the county here. So the 3 remonumentation grant agreements are from R.A. Bufler, Kennedy Survey, and Davis Land Survey. So those are the 3 entities that will. There's some other entities that are involved in this too here, so they'll be moving along with that. So it's real important. They've gone out there and they found these corner markers, or some of them are accurate, some of them are not accurate. They dig them up. These go back hundreds of years, some of them, and it's kind of an interesting topic that the way it was explained to us. We've authorized the appropriation transfer for mental health in the amount of $149,256, representing the 3rd installment payment of the annual allocation of $447,770 of CMH expenditure. In our properties meetings, we actually authorized CMH proceed with the purchase of 2 vehicles. The cost of $68,718 will be paid for out of their account, and expense of the county, for their needs going forward. There was some discussion with regards to the CMA, whether we want to continue to hold them under our umbrella or to make them their own authority. Kind of leaning towards maybe making them their own authority for a lot of reasons and kind of take us off for a lot of things. There are pros and cons of that. We're still in discussion there, but it's something that's we're discussing right now that it's been brought up several times in the past. So we're looking at that. So on properties, there's a couple things that, you know, we look at the old courthouse. So there's controversy going on with the old courthouse and what the city does. They do have a right to lease the pavilion that we have out front there, the property of the county, it's in front of the courthouse. But it seems that there's been some miscommunication as far as who is able to use those property, the courtyard lawn. So we've had people come in there and set up bounce houses and different things while we have the property rented out to a wedding. And it's very disruptive to the people that actually pay the money for the wedding at the courthouse. So we have Buildings and Grounds working on a new process to be able to say, hey, you know, these people have priority first before anybody else can come in there and do this. You've got to go through the proper process there. And they just seem, I don't know if it's confusion between the city commission and the county as to how that property is to be used or what agreements and liberties they have to use the courthouse property, but it is under control of the county. So administration controls that through Buildings and Grounds. So we're working through a process right now to make sure that if you rent it out for a wedding for your daughter, your granddaughter, whatever, that you have total rights to that facility there. So somebody's not out there banging drums or setting up bounce houses out there to interfere with that process. Trustee Park, the ongoing saga, it seems to be winding down a little bit. It's been very contentious here the last few years with regards to one of the contractors. Frank Rewald Company is the main general contractor for the project. We had a pool company that did not perform. We fought with them, and we finally called them bond. So in calling their bond, we threw to the curb, and you know, it was a legal process that involved a lot. But we have a new company in there now that is actually they had to actually tear off all the concrete from the pool. They got that done now. It's been replaced. But there's latent issues that may present themselves here in coming months here that they find from the company that just didn't do their job properly. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but they do think that we can get this all done here and get the pool operation to a point this fall, probably in September, we can test everything, make sure everything's right, and we'll be ready to rock and roll the first of the season here. So we do have to expend all the money that's related to our expenses associated with this project by December 31st. So that's a little bit of a challenge, but nobody in the administration seems to be too concerned with that, so I think we're on track to be able to accomplish that. Get the work done that's necessary to make up for the repairs and some of the issues that we had with just one company that really, you know, once you hire these people, it's really hard to get rid of them. So we were able to get that done, but we did have to call their bond, so it's not going to cost us anything, because they had a bond. The bond company, insurance company, through a very protracted legal process is having to cover those expenses. General Squire is, you know, we've had some repairs up there. There's been a lot of discussion on where we're going to move forward with General Squire Park. But we did make repairs out there where the facility is operating normally right now. Going forward, there may be some changes as to how we want to manage that property out there. There's discussion on one end about, you know, we're not in business as a county to operate business. You know, we provide a service and we provide these ancillary benefits to our community and our taxpayers there to use the park and all that. But you know, for us to say that we're going to go in there and operate a business and try to make money off it, it's kind of hard. It really draws a very fine line between really the proper way to do this as a function of government as opposed to you know, a private entity coming in there and buy the park, make a profit off it, you know, and operate it, which I'm more of a private enterprise guy and you know, having the government try to do this thing, because the government never does anything right, in my opinion. The old courthouse, Cheryl Place, and then the last thing is, you know, we just had a vote, and you know, everybody weighed in, everybody showed up to vote. That, you know, I think the turnout was in the low 30% range. Usually in November, we get close to 60% of the people turn out. I'm a big proponent of having anything to do with taxes and the cost of school bond millages, renewals, tax increases, and anything new as far as taxes being put on the November ballot. I will always support that. That's my personal opinion, and my supporters tell me that they agree with that as well. That passed the House. There's two bills that were HB 4583 and HB 4584 that passed back in March. They're not really going anywhere with the Senate. They've been waiting until the new legislature's been formed after the November election. But that would force that any of these millage issues that have to do with money are put on a November ballot where they belong. The primary ballot is not where they belong, and they purposely put those on there for one reason, because they think it's the best chance that they have passing them because of low voter turnout. So going forward, when we approve these issues here, I may be an island in this issue, but I'm not going to support anything that doesn't go on a November ballot. I think that's where they belong. Anybody have any questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we will go to public comment. The first one is limited to agenda items only, and you have 3 minutes, and you may either stand or come up to the podium.
Hi, I'm Lori Hollis with American Area Fire Authority. Just to let you know that I'm here tonight if anybody has any questions.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Beth Hudson. I'm a resident of the township, and I would like to address number 1 under, I guess it would be section 6 of your new business, the supervisor's resignation. The recent resignation of our township supervisor is deeply disappointing. This was a direct result of this board voting not to put the issue of the road funding for the roads on the ballot, which it appears was the consensus of the residents at the last meeting. For the first time in many years, residents of this township had a leader who was willing to actively address the township's ongoing challenges and listen to the concerns of the community. It's apparent that members on this board put their own interests ahead of that of the residents. And for that reason, I would hope that you consider the best candidate for the position going forward.
Thank you. Anybody else? No? Okay.
I have one.
Oh. Go ahead.
I'm Linda Lewis. I was going to ask that the board, before we vote for the item on the Marathon Fire Authority, to explain the reason why we can't spread the payment through the different properties that are going to be affected. I talked to you about that. You explained that you thought it wouldn't be fair to have that increase, just have the entire township pay for that, because it doesn't affect them all. But my question was, why have you considered letting just the ones that the Oregon Township, the ones that use Marathon Township, have them pay like a special assessment? They'd be willing to add to theirs from, I think, figure out to like 45 to like over $100, 107, to allow them to do that, to be able to keep that fire. I don't know if you have discussed that before when you were discussing it. I was very confused with all the numbers that were thrown around and why they weren't going to pay the increase and all that. So I wish you would explain it to us better to understand what you're actually going to vote on and how it's going to be paid for. Is my question. And if people that it affects will be willing to pay that extra amount just to keep that fire authority for them. And that was never really discussed, or I didn't really understand it, I guess, too.
Anybody else?
Yeah. Dave Clayton, Oregon Township. Again, number 1 and number 7. Number 1, about the resignation. I'm hoping that this number 7, the board, that 3-member interview committee is being set up, for finding a replacement, that they will take into consideration the needs of our township and of the board as well. I think number one, we want to have somebody that is separate from the board, not related or to a board member. I think that would be opening up a bucket of worms that we don't want to have here in our township. And I've got a lot of, I'm sure I would have a lot of residents agreeing with me. So I'm going to give it to this committee. I'm sure the names will be given out later, but I just hope that they do the due diligence. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. So we will move on to approve the consent agenda, which includes the meeting minutes from July 14th, 2026, and the payment of the bills totaling $52,736.68. Is there any support for that?
I support.
Second. And roll call.
Clemens. VanBelle.
Yes.
Barber.
Yes.
Place. Yes.
Osip.
Yes. And I have a supervisor's report today. So my report is, I have a couple election workers that are here, Dave and Bob. I want to thank you guys. I got word at like 4:30 that it passed canvass, so yay. I just want to let you know the numbers. I sent out 1,157 absent voter ballots. We got back 893. Election day, we had 665 that were here. And early voting, all 9 days, was 183 people. It was a little grueling, but the funny factor is we all had to put our numbers in, and if anybody wants to see this, I'll have it up here. And Oregon Township was the highest in Lapeer County for all 9 days. I don't know how, but we were. Let's see. And that's all I have for that report. So now we'll go to Cheryl, Treasurer's report.
Okay, the treasurer's report was on the table as we entered for July. And we continue to take tax payments. They are due September 14th.
You want to give your report?
I had 31 deeds that were put on the computer and record cards. I had one split that resulted in 2 parcels. July Board Review was held on July 21st, and we had 26 petitions that was processed at the July Board Review, and just the other daily duties on there.
Thank you. And we have Officer JT in the back here. Do you want to give your report since you're here?
Yes, ma'am. So for the last month in July, it was Deputy June and I that rotate days, but worked in Oregon Township. There was a total of 157 incidences, and between Deputy June and I, we handled 109 of them. And again, only the reason there's differences is the other ones happen usually outside our time frame when we're working. So that's kind of how many calls per service we had this past month of Oregon.
And I didn't look back, but that is definitely up from obviously just our one officer, so that's good. And our fire department report, we had a Marathon Fire Authority submitted the report for July. We had 11 first responders, and I don't think we had any, what? And 1 for Columbiaville. And we had a City of Lapeer fires report submitted for July with 3 township calls. Construction Code Authority submitted their report. There were 3 permits issued and 8 permits that were finalized. And Wayne, the transit report?
157 riders last month. Got some new buses coming in. No
Lapeer County EMS submitted their board meeting minutes for June. There were 35 EMS calls and 0 MedStar. ZBA and Planning Commission were both canceled due to no agenda items. For the cemetery, we had 1 burial and 1 foundation that was ordered in July. I also want to let everybody know that the property closed last Thursday for $170,000 for the 22.5 acres. The township kept 11 acres for a future project to attach to the cemetery. When we did have the cemetery, that property appraised, it appraised for $157,500. Something that I just want to put in all your guys' head is that we need to think about whether we want to do anything with that now, like create a board or anything to work on the cemetery expansion, or if we just want to leave it because the cemetery still isn't full. And obviously it's going to cost money to do something to it, so it's probably best that we just, you know, I'm guessing just, you know, see what happens and leave it like that. But if anybody has any ideas, it's probably something we should continue to discuss. Do you guys have any questions on that, the cemetery purchase or anything?
No.
Okay. Roads, there's been some discussion with Cheryl and I with Lapeer County Road Commission. I have found out that us as a township cannot apply for any grants. The Road Commission has to do all of that. I also found out that we can always ask the Road Commission to help with a road project. So would like to talk to them when we get some of we have a couple projects out there that we want to see about doing it, but I definitely want to see if they'll, you know, put something towards that so that we can maybe get a little bit more done together and work better together. And now we're on to new business. And that would be, we need to accept the resignation of Rich Clemens, supervisor, and I will read his letter. Dear members of the Oregon Township Board, please accept this letter as my formal resignation from the office of Oregon Township Supervisor, effective August 31st, 2026. It has been a privilege to serve the residents of Oregon Township. I appreciate the opportunity to have worked on behalf of our community and thank those who have supported me during my time in office. Between now and my effective resignation date, I will continue to fulfill the duties of the supervisor and will cooperate in any reasonable transition to help ensure the orderly continuation of township operations. Thank you for the opportunity to serve the citizens of Oregon Township. I wish the township, the board, its employees, and the residents continued success in the future. Rich Clemens. So with that, do we have a motion to accept his resignation?
So moved.
Okay.
Osip,
No.
Place,
Yes.
Barber,
Yes.
VanBelle.
Yes.
Now the next few are reappointments, and there is a couple new appointments for some PC and ZBA that were up. The first one is to reappoint Bob Weir to the Planning Commission for the term September 1st, 2026 to August 31st, 2028. Is there support for that?
Make that motion.
I'll second that.
Yeah, I guess it's a motion that's support. I'm new with this.
I got your back.
Okay. All right, roll call for that.
VanBelle,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Osip,
Yes.
Barber.
Yes.
The next one is to appoint Doug Farrell to the Planning Commission for the term September 1st, 2026 through August 31st, 2028.
Make that motion.
I'll second that.
Place,
Yes.
Barber,
Yes.
Clemens is absent. Osip,
Yes.
VanBelle.
Yes.
The next one is to reappoint Amy Stearns to the Zoning Board of Appeals for the term September 1st, 2026 to August 31st, 2028.
I'll make that motion.
Support it.
Clemens is absent. Place,
Yes.
Barber,
Yes.
VanBelle,
Yes.
Osip.
Yes. And the next one is to appoint Phil Krasinski, otherwise known as PK, to the Zoning Board of Appeals for the term September 1st, 2026 to August 31st, 2028.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
So can I get PK on your sign then?
If it's cheaper that way, it doesn't matter.
Osip,
Yes.
Clemens absent. VanBelle,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Barber.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're on to the Marathon Fire Authority contract. Let me just start by, I don't even know when the contract got sent over to us, but the increase, we're paying $85,055, and it went up $22,339. So that just caused a little back and forth conversation, about was there anything that we could do different, could we change, could we do whatever. Initially, we had a little meeting and it was brought up possibly to divide it into 3, but when we got we sent a counter offer after our last meeting that was substantially a lot less than what they were asking for. And then they countered back with a no. So then I asked them if we could do it over the 3-year term, and they did agree to that. So the September 1st, 2026 to August 31st, 2027 is a 50%, the 22,000 is divided into 50%, so that will be $96,224. $96,224.50 annually, and then the next year it will be $101,809, and then the last year will be that cost, the 25% plus if there is any adjustment annually in accordance with their agreement with what their residents, if there's no increases for their residents. Then the third year would be $107,394. So I'll answer your question later, Linda, about what you were asking. But so I would like to, so we need to make a motion to approve the fire service contract with Marathon Fire Authority as presented with those dollar amounts.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
VanBelle,
Yes.
Osip,
Yes.
Barber,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
And then the next one is, with the announcement of Township Supervisor effective August 31st, 2026, I would like to create a 3-member interview committee. In the interest of maintaining a transparent, open, and fair appointment process to review interested applicants and conduct interviews. The committee would consist of 3 impartial people with knowledge of township government operations. The first one, and I kind of did this all on my own because time is of the essence here, so the committee would consist of 3 impartial people with knowledge of township government operations. First one is Bob Rapson. He's a resident and he's the retired undersheriff. Teresa Spencer, she is a resident and the county clerk. And Dennis Hogan, he's a Marathon Township supervisor. The committee will meet during the first week of September 2026 to review applicants and conduct interviews. Following the interviews, the committee may provide its recommendation to the Oregon Township Board on or before the September 8th Township Board meeting. If the committee determines that it has had enough information to make a recommendation, individuals interested are being considered for the position. They may submit their resume and letter of interest by August 27th to me or drop off here at my office. And then I just wanted this to be an explanation so you guys would all like understand it. I kind of got this idea because when Officer Keller was here, he was telling me about his interview process to be lieutenant? Is that what he said, lieutenant?
Yeah.
Lieutenant. And he had mentioned that it was with like 10 people that he had no idea who they were. And I realize we're not the sheriff's department or anything, but I just thought it was a good idea. So hopefully you guys will think so too. And with that being said, I don't know if you have any questions about it.
I think it's smart.
It's a good idea. So the motion would be to approve the appointment of Bob Rapson, Teresa Spencer, and Dennis Hogan to serve as a 3-member interview committee for the Oregon Township supervisor vacancy created by the resignation effective August 31st, 2026. The committee is authorized to review resumes and letters of interest, conduct interviews of qualified applicants during the first week of September 2026. And if the committee determines it has sufficient information, provide a recommendation to the Oregon Township Board on or before the September 2026 Township Board meeting. The committee's role is advisory only, and the final appointment of the Township Supervisor shall remain with the Oregon Township Board in accordance with applicable Michigan law. The appointed supervisor will serve the remainder of the current term, which expires in November of 2028.
I'll make that motion. Support it.
I didn't have to do anything.
Good job.
Barber,
Yes.
Osip,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
VanBelle.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Now we're back to second public time. So.
During the last election, there was another man who ran for the position of supervisor. Has he been contacted to see if he's been?
Yes, he has, and he's not interested.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
And I wasn't supposed to answer you, but I just did.
Okay, I understand.
Ken Kopnick. I was a little bit befuddled when we bought the entire farm for the cemetery property. And I know things change, but for a long time we held what I was told was a purchase agreement that the family had agreed to sell us 10 acres for the cemetery. And then there were legal problems between the estate and IRS and everything that was going on. And now that we've got the property, if you guys want to sit down with somebody, and I'm going to lose a friend over this, but I know somebody in this room that was involved with this from the get-go. Back when Eldon was here and this all started. And he dealt with Karagandhi and the water lines that run through there, the power cables that run through there. He participated in the survey. If you want advice on what needs to be done, should be done, and how it should be done, Mr. Krasinski, I apologize, but I'm going to tell the public. I have watched him over the years. He can tear apart a purchase agreement, a bid. He can be through it and tear it apart before most people have been through the first 2 paragraphs of it. I've watched him split hairs, play what if, play devil's advocate, and as far as I'm concerned, he's always tried to look out for the best interest of the township as a whole. You better take advantage of him because he was there through the whole thing, up through the last election. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good evening. I'll try to not completely turn my back to everyone. Good evening. My name is Maureen Saleko, and I'm a candidate for District Court Judge. I've been a Lapeer County resident for 30 years, where I reside with my husband, John, and we have raised our 3 children. I've been a practicing attorney for 20 years. I began in private practice, handling primarily criminal cases, criminal defense, and family law. After that, I am a former assistant prosecuting attorney, and for the last 11 years, I have worked for the county. I began as a juvenile referee and the probate register for Lapeer County. For the past 6 years, I have been the magistrate and the trial court administrator. As the magistrate, I handle the beginning of all criminal cases, from search warrants to arrest warrants to arraignments and setting bond. As I also handle informal hearings, so if someone receives a ticket and they don't like it, they can come before us and have a hearing. I also handle small claims cases. As a trial court administrator, I oversee the day-to-day operations of all three courts, the circuit court, probate court, and district court. I handle everything from dealing with the state court to handling budgets and making sure everything runs properly. I believe all my experience allows me to step into this position as the district court judge. I've been on the bench for 6 years right now, handling the beginning of all these cases that come before the district court judge. My experience allows me to step right into that position and handle that position. I am honored to be endorsed by Judge Barnard, Judge Nolan, Judge Hodges, Judge McCarthy, and retired Judge Scott. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, welcome. Commissioner Isley. I do have.
Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Bob Ware. I'm sure you all know me, but I'd like to submit a letter of intent to fulfill the supervisor's position.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else?
You had mentioned that you maybe were gonna answer the question I had about.
At the end, I will.
Okay, I didn't know, and I guess one of my comments is, please, please, please get microphones for all of you up there, and especially for the podium up there, because even though you think you're projecting and you're speaking, you are doing very well, but when you drop your voice or when you have conversations between or whatever, we can't hear you very well. So I really wish the township would invest in getting microphones for all of you up there.
I'll put it on the list. I don't know, is there any here?
Again, Dave Quaker, Oregon Township. I have concerns about the cemetery property, the 11 acres. Has that been marked off where exactly that 11 acres is at? And is there anything figured into the budget for keeping that up, or are you just going to let it roll up wild? I think we need to make sure, as our board here should address that situation and make sure that there is budgeted for at least mowing, if not go ahead and planning something else.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Again, my name's Beth Hudson. I live on Mount Morris Road here in the township. One of the most pressing issues facing our township is the condition of our roads. Rather than working collaboratively to develop a solution and allowing voters the opportunity to decide whether they would support a road millage to fund necessary repairs, it appears the board has chosen to delay action and hope that someone else will address the problems. If the members on this board didn't want to see their taxes go up as a result of a millage increase, they could have voted it down in November. Instead, you chose to take away the voice in the vote of the very people who elected you to office. Residents deserve leadership that is willing to confront difficult issues, explore viable solutions, and allow the community to participate in decisions that affect the future of our township. What we don't deserve is a township board that feel that, and I quote you, feel that voters of this township aren't educated enough to make informed decisions.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody? Oh, sure.
My name is Matt Morris, resident of the township. First off, I'd like to say thank you to all of you for your service to the township and the roles that you've been elected to. I'll try to make this as short as I can. Rich sent me a letter telling me that I'm in violation of the green belt in zoning. And, well, I'll just read you what he said. He says, please be advised the above referenced property is violation of Oregon Township zoning ordinance 8, section 8.123. Now, if I read that for you, it says, the opening sentence of this ordinance is, whenever any property is developed for any use other than agricultural or residential use, and the property borders property zoned for residential use, and then it talks about the necessity for a green belt. But it starts out with use other than agricultural or residential, and then goes on to say, and the property borders. So my answer to his first letter was, Dear Mr. Clemens, I'm writing in response to your letter regarding zoning ordinance 8, section 1.3. All of the development of my property is in fact exclusively for agricultural and residential purposes, for me and my family. Thank you for your time and attention to this letter. Now this is where you guys come in. Because the response I got was, Dear Mr. Morris, thank you for the response regarding the cited ordinance violation. It says, while we acknowledge that the property is used for residential and agricultural purposes, agriculture use does not exempt the property from complying with the applicable provision of ordinance 8.113. I responded, Dear Mr. Clemens, as I stated in my previous letter, and you have acknowledged in your response to that letter, my property is only being developed for agricultural and residential purposes. The first sentence of 8.1.3 Greenbelts reads, whenever any property is developed for any use other than agricultural or residential, this would exclude agricultural and residential development from this requirement. I've included a highlighted copy of this section for your convenience. Thank you for your consideration to this letter. And then the last response that I got is a formal notice that I'm in violation, and then also says that the township has been informed that you believe your property's zoning designation makes it that you're exempt. Did you hear me say anything in my letters about zoning? All I talked about was the development of the property, which is what the ordinance says. And then, to make it even more interesting, he highlights 8.113, 8.13, and then completely skips over the opening sentence, which is the most important part of it for anybody who is developing their property to live on it or to engage in agriculture. And skips right to the property borders any property that's owned residential, blah, blah, blah. So I thought I would bring this to your attention because two of these letters were written back to me saying we, and I don't know who the we is. So hopefully I'm addressing the we, if it is anybody other than Rich Clemens himself. And I do have copies of this, if you guys want a copy of it. What he
There's
highlighted.
copies all in the back there.
I mean, how he highlighted everything but the opening sentence, which is the most critical part of the entire thing, which, I mean, my goodness, if he's gonna push this on me, or if this is gonna be allowed to be pushed on me, then anybody who gets wood chips dropped off in their front yard to put around their house is gonna end up with this same violation, because that's what it's all about.
What is it that you're actually doing there? Because I have seen all of that, but I don't really understand what you're in violation of. What are
I don't either. And he hasn't even told me. None of these letters say actually what I'm doing that's in violation.
Is it the wood chip berm?
They're not, it's not a berm. They're wood chip piles, and they're for future mulch. Anybody who knows anything about wood chips is if you just leave them in a pile long enough, they're going to turn into dirt. And they turn into really good dirt for growing vegetables, for putting around fruit trees, for all the things that I want to do to feed my family. Because that's why I got this property, was to feed my family and to live. And I'm being treated like I'm some commercial, industrial, or what's the other one? Institutional property, which this zoning requirement is intended for. So whenever you see a new business go up, you'll see something like a little pond, you'll see a little border that goes around it, because it's either a commercial, industrial, or institutional property that borders residential property. That's the whole intent of this. And I was hoping to address the supervisor himself in front of everyone for a little accountability, but yeah, that's what's going on. I'm farming to feed my family, and I'm continually being harassed by the township supervisor, trying to read this thing backwards. You know, let's start reading it, and you know, in the paragraph that follows about a berm that may be required, and never address the issue itself, even though I've repeatedly brought that to his attention. He just can't seem to read the first sentence whenever any property is developed for any use other than agricultural or residential. And he acknowledged in his letter that that's all it's being used for. It says, we acknowledge that the property is only being used for agricultural and residential. So anyhow,
I'll look in the file and see what the initial complaint was, but I think it was because
I plan on following up on it, but the latest letter threatens, you know, fines and all this other stuff, and to me, it's just, that's why I came to the meeting, because I thought, well, you guys should all know about this, and I don't know if he's told you about it. He's saying we, but I don't know if there's been any conversations.
No, I've seen the file.
With board members.
But I don't deal with the residential agricultural. Maybe you can shed some light on it.
It's
a zoning.
just how it's zoned.
Yeah, it's just how it's zoned. So
I think the
to be a violation, I would have to be engaged in a commercial, industrial, or institutional property development. I'm not doing any of those things.
Why don't you, I know we have your number.
Yeah.
I'll look into it and then I'll give you a call.
I just wanted to address it more publicly, because I feel like it's just kind of this back and forth thing and nothing's really moving anywhere. So thank you for your time.
What's your address?
3348 McKean Lake Road. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, now we're on to board comments. Well, I'll start real quick. The cemetery, we do have, Mark June is farming it. He's farming the 11 acres, so I'm sure he'll do it as long as he wants to do it, would be my guess, so that'll keep that all down. We do have it is surveyed, right? Because there is a survey, so we do have a survey, so we know where everything is. Somebody mentioned about how we were supposed to get it years ago, which Wayne can probably shed some light on it, and
that was only 5 acres.
Wasn't it 6?
6 acres.
It was 6, and then also, when I did research on that, there was probably about 1.5 acres, maybe even 2, that wouldn't even be usable. But what happened is, then it ended up going to a probate, so we thought it was basically dead in the water. Then it got listed for sale, and they pulled the deed restriction, and Grandma Ethel left a deed restriction with the word stating that Oregon Township had the first right to purchase whatever was for sale abutting the cemetery, which was the 33.5 acres. So instead of splitting it and doing all that, we just decided to get all of it so that the 11 acres could, if it ever needed to be sold, if it never got the expansion, it could be sold for another piece of property for somebody to actually build on. And then the thought process was, whatever we sold the 22.5 acres, we would get money then that would go towards the cemetery purchase, so that that piece of property then wouldn't cost us as much as it had originally cost. So we did end up getting that down into like the $50,000 range. I got that. And the Marathon Township, my opinion on that is, we have fire authority with Marathon and we have fire authority with Lapeer. Why would we charge Marathon Township residents double of what we're charging Lapeer for the special assessment. We already have a special assessment. Basically, how I look at it is the residents of Oregon Township pay for one fire department, Oregon Township pays for another fire authority or department. The residents pay for one police officer, Oregon Township pays for one police officer. It makes it pretty even across the board. I personally don't think it would be fair to take Marathon's bill and make the residents of Marathon pay all of that, and then Lapeer wouldn't hardly have a bill, or it would go, their assessment would go down because everybody pays $45. So that's my, I don't know if you understand that, but that's my thought process. I don't know if anybody can explain it better, but okay.
Good question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the first responder part of it, doesn't that respond to all of Oregon Township?
Yes.
No,
No?
no. Go ahead.
Does it?
Kim is in the back. No, it does not. It's only a portion.
We only respond to everything north of Coldwater Road. I cover both sides of Coldwater Road, which I got permission from to include the prior fire chief. And the straight line right across, I cover everything to the north.
Those were the questions that I had. Do you have anything?
I just want to cover some of that, you covered it all. As far as the road millage bond, that meeting was a 2-hour meeting, and I would be glad to go over any of the facts from that meeting if you want to come in. We actually developed a packet, a little fact packet right after that meeting because we felt that people would have questions, and there were plenty of facts, much that covered revenue reasons. You have to have collateral to pay back a loan, and all of those revenues are in question as far as the upcoming election and state legislators. There's more, I think there's 5 bills at the state right now that have to do with taxes. So all of those revenue monies are in question. But there are more facts, not just those facts, but that's money. So if you'd like to come in, I'd be happy to go over those facts with you.
I just want to say thanks to Michelle for doing a good job on the remembering.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jared.
Anything else? Should I just be the supervisor?
I was just.
There you go.
No, I don't want it.
Can you do both?
No. No, absolutely not. Anything? Anything? Okay.
Motion to adjourn. Support. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.